You've been doing everything right, training hard, eating enough protein, showing up consistently. And yet your body looks almost exactly the same as it did 6 months ago. Here's what nobody in the gym will tell you. You're not missing effort. You're missing information. And in this video, I'm going to show you the things silently destroying your progress and exactly how to fix every single one of them. Stay until the end, because number 2 is the one almost nobody talks about, and it might be the exact reason your gains have stalled. The fitness industry has been selling you a very simple idea for decades. Lift more, eat more, grow more. And look, there's truth in that. But it's incomplete truth. And incomplete truth is how people spend years in the gym without looking like they've ever stepped foot in one. I'm going to tell you the things that most gym channels, personal trainers, and fitness influencers completely skip over. Because they're not sexy. They don't sell supplements. They don't make for exciting thumbnails. But they absolutely determine whether you grow or not. Mistake number 1, and this one is painful to say, because almost everyone does, it is rushing the lowering phase of every exercise. Especially on the last rep. Here's why that last rep matters more than all the others combined. When you're approaching the final repetition of a set, your muscles are at their most fatigued. That's the moment your fast-twitch muscle fibers, the ones responsible for most of your muscle growth, are recruited. Those fibers only show up when your body has no other option. They are your growth fibers. And they only get trained when you're close to your limit. Here's something almost nobody explains. Your first few reps in a set are not really building muscle. They exist to fatigue your slow-twitch fibers, the endurance fibers, so that your body is forced to call in the fast-twitch fibers, the heavy hitters. Your slow-twitch fibers are built for endurance and contribute almost nothing to muscle size. Your fast-twitch fibers are the ones that make you grow. That's why your final reps are not optional. Treat them like your life depends on them, because your results absolutely do. So what happens in most gyms? Someone gets to rep 11 or 12, starts to struggle, and the lowering phase, what we call the eccentric phase, suddenly takes about 1 second. Sometimes less. They're just dropping the weight at the hardest moment of the set. The exact moment that matters most. Here's what the research actually shows. Your muscle doesn't grow because you moved the weight. It grows because the muscle fiber itself was forced to work close to its maximum capacity. When you swing the weight, use momentum, or rush your reps, especially at the end of a set, you're making the exercise easier. You're stealing the stimulus from your muscle and handing it to gravity and momentum instead. And there's something else almost nobody tells you. Stop thinking in fixed rep ranges. Forget the idea that you do 8 reps, or 10 reps, or 12 reps. Those numbers are arbitrary. What actually drives muscle growth is training close to failure, meaning you stop when you have about 1 rep left in the tank, not at a fixed number. If you load the bar for what you think is a 10-rep set and you hit 15 reps without struggling, you haven't trained at all, you've just exercised. There's a difference. The fix is this: slow the lowering phase to a 3-second count on every rep. Yes, every rep, not just the last one. Drop the weight by 20% if you need to. And instead of counting reps, train until you have 1 rep left. That's your stopping point. Try this on your next bench press, and I guarantee you will feel muscles you have never felt before. Mistake number 2. You're fueling your body wrong. This one's going to surprise some of you because the fitness world has been getting this wrong for years. Most people are spreading their nutrition completely wrong, and it goes way beyond just protein timing. Let's start with protein. Here's the pattern most gym goers follow. Skip breakfast or eat something light, train hard in the afternoon, then eat a giant protein-heavy dinner. Sound familiar? The problem is that your body can only use around 35 to 40 grams of protein per meal for muscle protein synthesis. Everything above that, in that same sitting, is largely wasted for the purpose of building muscle. So if you're eating 180 grams of protein per day but cramming 100 grams of it into one dinner, you're only getting the benefit of half of what you're eating. The fix: split your protein across 4 to 5 meals throughout the day, 35 to 40 grams per meal. Practically, that means eggs and Greek yogurt in the morning, chicken or tuna at lunch, a protein shake mid-afternoon, and a proper dinner. Same total calories, dramatically different results. Now, how much protein do you actually need? If you're serious about building muscle, the minimum is 2.0 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day. So if you weigh 80 kilograms, that's 160 grams of protein every single day. Non-negotiable. But here's where it gets more nuanced, and this is what almost no one covers. Your nutrition strategy needs to be completely different depending on whether you're in a building phase or a cutting phase. When you're bulking, fat intake matters far more than most people think. Dietary fat is directly responsible for testosterone production. And testosterone is one of the most powerful natural drivers of muscle growth your body has. You want a minimum of 1 gram of fat per kilogram of body weight per day. On your training days, push your carbohydrates up. Carbs fuel your performance in the gym, and better training sessions mean better muscle stimulus. On rest days, bring carbohydrates down slightly and let fat and protein carry the day. When you're cutting, now protein becomes your absolute priority. You want 2.2 to 2.4 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight, higher than when bulking. The reason, in a calorie deficit, your body looks for energy wherever it can find it, including your muscle tissue. Higher protein protects against that breakdown. Keep your carbohydrates as high as possible on training days to preserve your performance in the gym. On rest days, bring them back to normal. Fat intake can drop to around 0.6 grams per kilogram of body weight, the minimum needed to maintain healthy hormone function. Same total calories, completely different macronutrient setup, and completely different results. Mistake number 3, you're training too often or not structured enough. And this one feels counterintuitive because hustle culture has convinced us that more is always better. Here's the biology first. When you train a muscle hard, you create micro tears in the muscle fibers. Your body then repairs those tears and builds them back slightly bigger and slightly stronger. That repair process takes 48 to 72 hours. If you train that muscle again before it's recovered, you are interrupting the repair. You are tearing down what you just started rebuilding. You are literally getting in the way of your own gains. But here's the side of this that most people miss. Higher training frequency is actually better as long as your volume is properly distributed across those sessions. It's not about training a muscle group once a week with massive volume. It's about hitting it more frequently with moderate volume per session. Frequent, quality stimulus beats occasional, brutal sessions every single time. The research is clear on this. So what does an optimal split actually look like? Here's the breakdown based on how many days per week you can train. If you train 2 days per week, 2 full body sessions. If you train 3 days per week, 3 full body sessions. If you train 4 days per week, upper/lower split. 2 upper body days, 2 lower body days. If you train 5 days per week, here is the most effective balanced split. And here's the hard limit. For natural lifters, people not using performance-enhancing drugs, 5 sessions per week is the maximum that produces net positive results. Training more than 5 times a week will damage your recovery faster than it builds your muscle. Your body simply cannot repair fast enough. More is not more. More becomes less. Distribute your total weekly volume evenly across all your sessions. Don't cram everything into 2 days and coast the rest of the week. Consistent distributed stimulus, that is the formula. The real reason nobody tells you this. Now, why does nobody tell you any of this? Because none of it sells anything. Slowing your lowering phase doesn't sell a pre-workout. Distributing your protein across the day doesn't sell a meal plan. Training with frequency and structure doesn't sell a coaching program. Sleeping more and recovering properly doesn't sell a supplement stack. The fitness industry is built on complexity and confusion. The more overwhelmed you feel, the more likely you are to reach for a product, a program, or a guru to cut through the noise. Simplicity doesn't convert. Complexity does. But the truth, the real truth, is that building a great physique is genuinely simple. Not easy, simple. There is a difference. It requires consistency, patience, and a small number of principles applied correctly over months and years. That's it. The people who actually look like they train, not the people who post the most content about training, but the people who actually have the results. They've figured all of this, often through years of painful trial and error. Now you have it in one video. Now, the secret formula. Action plan. Here is your complete action plan. 5 things. Start this week. Number 1, slow your lowering phase to a 3-second count on every rep of every set. Drop the weight by 20% if you need to. Especially your last rep, do not let it drop in 1 second. That rep is the most valuable one in the entire set. Number 2, stop training to a fixed rep number. Train until you have 1 rep left in the tank. If you can do 15 when you programmed 10, you needed more weight. Your body is the guide, not the number on a spreadsheet. Number 3, distribute your protein across 4 to 5 meals per day at 35 to 40 grams per meal. Hit a minimum of 2.0 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight if you're building, and 2.2 to 2.4 grams if you're cutting. Push carbohydrates up on training days, keep fat at the right minimum for your phase. Number 4, build your training week around a proper split that hits each muscle group twice, with at least 48 hours of recovery between sessions. Cap yourself at 5 sessions per week maximum as a natural lifter. Spread your volume evenly, and sleep 7 to 9 hours every night. That is when your growth hormone peaks. That is when the actual building happens, and no amount of extra training will replace it. And the bonus tip, the real game changer that most people will never implement, on your very last rep of every set. Take a full 5 seconds on the lowering phase, not 3 seconds. 5. That final eccentric under peak fatigue is where the deepest muscle stimulus happens. It is uncomfortable. It is exactly where growth lives. 5 things. Start tomorrow. One last thing before you go, drop a comment below and tell me, which of these mistakes were you making? Number 1, 2, 3, or all of them? I read every single comment and I genuinely want to know. If this helped you, hit subscribe. I post videos like this every week. Science-backed, no fluff, nothing to sell. And if you know someone who has been grinding in the gym for months without seeing results, send them this video. It might be the single thing that finally changes their training. I'll see you in the next one. Train smarter. Build better.